My own husband hired men to take my life. But what he didn't expect was that this whole thing would take a wild turn. The men he hired didn't just let me live. They actually gave me the evidence I needed to put him behind bars. And if that wasn't enough, I showed up at my own funeral. Let me tell you what happened when my husband saw me, and what punishment he got in the end. I'm Noela Rukundo, and this is my story. It all started back in 2004, when I left my home country of Burundi in Africa and immigrated to Australia, seeking refuge. I was a mother of 5 at the time, just trying to start a new life. When I got to Australia, I met Balenga Kalala, who had also just arrived from Congo. He had lost his entire family back in Congo, his wife and kids. Since I didn't speak English, Balenga helped me out. He acted as my translator, helped me with paperwork, and little by little we grew closer. Eventually we started a relationship. We settled in Kings Park, Melbourne, living what seemed like a normal life. We got married, and I had 3 more children with him, making it 8 in total, counting my 5 from before. Years went by, and in 2015, I got the heartbreaking news that my stepmother had passed away back in Burundi. Of course, I decided to travel back home to attend the funeral. What I didn't know was that during this time, Balenga started suspecting I was cheating on him. He saw my trip as the perfect chance to get rid of me. He contacted some people in Burundi and paid them $7,000 to take my life during the trip. But he had no idea that these men weren't actually going to follow through with it. Instead, they had other plans. They were going to help me bring him down. On January 17th, 2015, I was staying in a hotel in Bujumbura, the capital of Burundi. That evening, my husband called me. We talked for a bit, and I told him how stressed and tired I was because of the funeral and the long trip. He told me to relax and suggested I take a walk outside to get some fresh air. At the time, I thought he was just being caring, looking out for me. I had no clue he was trying to get me outside so the men he hired could snatch me up more easily. So I left my room and stepped outside. As soon as I did, a man with a gun approached me, told me to be quiet, and made me get into a car. Inside the car were 2 other men I didn't know. We drove for about 40 minutes until we arrived at a place where they planned to keep me captive. At that moment, I truly thought this was the end for me. But then, the whole situation took an unexpected turn. The men tied me up and held me in a dark room. I was terrified. Then they said something that changed everything. One of them looked at me and said, "We're not going to kill you. Your husband paid us to do it, but we don't take the lives of women." I couldn't believe it. My own husband. I begged them to explain more. They told me everything, how my husband hired them and how he wired